Well. China eases tariffs as trade fight with Donald Trump eases or heats up. I went to Target yesterday, and it's kind of crazy. You look around, and a lot of the shelves are empty. I thought it was like fear mongering or just to get more favorable terms for their company. Because they can't get goods from China, that means their businesses will slump and profits will lessen. So I thought it was just a fear mongering tactic to get Trump to do whatever they say. But hey, it doesn't work like that. Uh, you go to Target, you go to Walmart, the shelves are empty. Not all of them, but some. And that just shows like what will happen if it continues. Imagine it goes on for months, maybe a year. You know how many products come from China in Walmart, in Target? It's insane. But look, China eases tariffs as trade fight with Trump admin heats up. Let's see what happens.
They have to have the U.S. market. You've got over 80 countries now, and China being one of them, that are in talks, that are ready to make a deal.
We need to call their hand and slap them to Pluto until they start abiding by fair trading rules. China will ultimately have no choice.
China has been waging a
Well, obey rules. Who imports from them? Us as US, we import from them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like they force us to take their products. We kind of naturally gravitate towards them because they have everything. So what if we are if we need something from them, why do they have to abide by our rules? Of course, yes, we provide a lot of our business to China, but because we buy from them, they're the one that sets the price. They're the one that have the goods that cheap. Unless we go to other countries, we're stuck with China. Unless we go to no, what is it called? Mexico. I heard Apple is moving their production to India. I don't know how that's gonna go because most of the smart chips or the what is it called, short chips, those software chips, they're made in China. It's like they have to print microscopic layers of whatever it's called. It's like cooling, CPU. It's insane. It's almost like magic how they do it. The technology is insane. Unless they are willing to bring it to India, like let's say Apple wants their stuff made in India, they have to import all their intellectual data into India, and then same thing with China. Uh, India might copy them. China is notorious for copying things and then selling it as their own. But India, I don't think they have the infrastructure yet. There are some that are huge, like Qualcomm. It's huge. I think it's $1 billion industry.
waging a trade war against the United States for decades. Donald Trump is simply trying to fight back on behalf of Americans.
The views from several Republican senators there. New signs that China might be caving in to President Trump's trade war. Beijing is now pulling back its 125% tariffs on some.
If you're sick, you just have to chug water. Chug as much as you want, as you can, and you'll feel better the next day. But a number of companies, they stopped their orders of Chinese goods. They're not going to order anymore unless the tariffs subside. Like they don't have any tariffs, or there's a set amount of tariffs that you can go by. Because Donald Trump, he changes his mind every day. It used to be like what 90% tariffs, and then 124, then 245. It just changes every day. We're not certain. Even the factories in China, they're like, yeah, we don't know what he's doing. And if we ship the goods today, the next day it could be 300%, and we have no other choice but to pay the 300%. So it's more risk on them if they're covering all the taxes and fees. It's more risk on us if we're covering the taxes and fees. So it was a major distribution company. They sell like Korean cosmetics. They sell Japanese cosmetics, makeup products, pans, pots, food, everything. It's imported. It's a distributor. But mainly, they stopped their import of Chinese goods until everything everything starts to stabilize. Right now, it's too volatile.
On some U.S. goods. This as President Trump claims he's spoken with Chinese President Xi many times. China denies it has had any talks with the White House. Let's bring in Gordon Chang. He is a senior fellow at the Gatestone Institute, author of Plan.
That's a little wild statement. How can one person say, "Oh, we talked many times"? It's like kind of like gaslighting. It's like, "Oh, we tried to sort it out," but the other one's like, "What? You didn't? You don't say anything." It's like child support cases. One party would be like, "Oh, I tried reaching out. I tried to give them the money if they don't want it." The other party's like, "What? They didn't say anything." So it's like, how can we trust them if they can't even be real? Like, yo, how are you doing? You're running a whole nation and you're lying. How are the people gonna trust you? One of them's lying. How can one say I spoke to them many times and the other one say we never even spoke? One of them is lying. I don't know.
Plan Red, China's project to destroy America. Gordon, first of all, why would China say that they haven't had any talks with the United States if, in fact, President Trump is telling the truth?
I think it's because
How do we know that Trump is telling the truth? How do we know that China is telling the truth? Who has the evidence? There's no evidence. So how do we know who's lying, who's not?
Xi Jinping has staked his legitimacy on having surpassed the U.S. And so it's very difficult for him to then say, oh, we're bowing to pressure from President Trump and we're going to talk about tariffs and other things. So I think he's boxed himself in. But in general, since he's become China's ruler in late 2012, he has made the political system hostile, where only the most belligerent answers are considered to be acceptable. So he's a very, very thin line which he can walk right now.
Well, President Trump may or may not.
Okay, so he painted China as like this global superpower, like #1 in the world. And he doesn't want to make it seem like, oh, we finally compromised. Whoever takes the deal first, whoever talks first, loses. So I think that's why he's losing. He knows he's losing, but he doesn't want to show it. That's what I'm getting at.